Many times when I'm working on a bear with sparse fabric, or if I've washed the mohair, kind of boiled it and got rid of some of the sizing as a result, the fabric, the backing might be a little more looser weave, and it might fray more easily. So although when I'm done sewing the bear, I always add this stop fray to the seam openings to add strength, this is a time when the fabric might be very easily frayed, if it's frays easily, that I will add a little bit to certain parts of the bear before I sew. Now the foot here, where we're going to add after we sew the legs together, we'll be hand stitching in the foot pad or machine sewing. But if this part here is very loose, if the weave of the fabric backing is loose, then you're not going to get a very good secure stitch in with your foot pad. So when it is like that, I will use my Aleene's stop fraying. And I don't like to make it too thick, because if the stop fray is too thick, that will also make it difficult to sew, because you're adding a layer of extra layer of stuff there. So I put here we go. I accidentally got a little here, so I'll pull that off there, and you see how that's kind of fraying there. That's what I'm talking about. I put some right here of my stop fray, and now I'm going to take a toothpick, dip it in here, and then very carefully just add it towards the end here, the end of the fabric, the cut end. And that will stop the fabric from fraying and make it much easier when you are hand sewing in or stitching in your foot pad. I don't do this with every bear, only on those where the fabric is looks like it might fray very easily. Now, I'm going to finish that in a moment, but I'm going to show you two other places that I will also do this, and that is the head. I will do this along the face here, where the gusset is going to be inserted. Because this, I can tell that this is going to fray very easily. So just going to add, again, just a little bit. I'm not adding it as heavily as I do when I'm adding it to the seam openings. This is just to stop it from fraying while I'm stitching. I don't want it too thick, because that'll make it hard for the needle to go through and make it difficult to stitch. And on the face, I will go to about the top of the head. So I'll set this aside and let it dry before I sew the two head side pieces together at the chin. And then one more piece is the gusset. Now after I cut these pieces out and I noticed how easy it was to fray, I decided to not cut the gusset out until I had added the fray check. Now in this, I'm going to use a different method, because as I mentioned, I haven't cut this out yet. So I am going to take my toothpick and kind of draw the fray check along where I will cut, on the inside of that cutting line. I'm going to add a little bit more here. this particular fur is kind of furry on the back too, so it's a little more difficult to get it on there. So I could snip some of that back fur off. And then I'll take this and I'll go all the way around. I'll let it dry and then I'll cut my gusset out. Now for me, the reason I only do this particular technique on the head, the gusset, and the bottom of the feet, the reason I don't do it on the rest of the bear is with my seam allowance, it's a little bit larger and I don't have a problem with the fabric fraying, and my stitching for the rest of the bear is very secure.